Hello and welcome to Darton College Science Department's 7th video from the Flipped Learning series Force in Motion. This video is on work. Right, the aim of this video is that by the end of it you should be able to say what units work is measured in and explain why work is measured in these units. We should also be able to say what work is and when it has to be done, and we should also be able to link work, force and distance in an equation which you then use. Well, right at the end we'll just touch on power, but we're going to leave that mainly for the next video. A really important distinction to start with: this is not work as in sitting down at your desk and doing some writing, although there is a certain amount of physical work that goes into that. This is work as in moving something. And work always takes place against a force. So if you move a book from rest and lift it up above a table, then you are doing work, because you're doing work against the force of gravity. The amount of work that you do is dependent on the weight of the book, or the force, and how far you move it, or the distance. So here is the equation. The amount of work that you do with work done is equal to the force applied multiplied by the distance. So in this small example here, if you've got a force of 10 newtons and you're moving a box by 2 meters, you just do 10 times by 2, which gives you work done of 20 joules. The reason that work done is measured in joules is because the work done is equal to the amount of energy that's transferred, and joules is measured in energy, so work is also measured in energy. Quick point of caution that you need to be aware of: with all these questions, they always try and trip you up and check for your understanding. Make sure that you are converting and you're using joules and not kilojoules, and if it gives you kilojoules in the question, what you need to do is multiply it by 1,000 to turn it into joules. The same if you're given kilometers and you need meters, you multiply it by 1,000 again to give you meters. So as always, you can rearrange this equation and display it in a triangle. So let's say, for example, you wanted to work out distance, then what you would do is cover the distance, and that would leave you with the equation work done over force, which calculates distance. There's a couple of practice questions here. You might just want to pause this and have a go at them before I go through the answers. The first one, working out work. If you're working out work, you're doing force times distance. In this case, the force is 80 newtons. The distance is 1.2 meters. So the answer in this situation, the amount of work done moving this book 1.2 meters, is 96 joules. The next question is asking you to work out distance, so you need to do the work divided by the force. Work in this case is 3,000. They're using kilojoules to try and trip you up, divided by 600. So the distance that this car has been moved is 3,000 divided by 600, which gives you 5 meters. The last one, calculate the work done by a man of mass 90 kilograms who climbs a hill with a vertical height of 200 meters. This is another multi-step question. What you first have to do is work out force. Because gravity is 10 newtons per kilogram and you have mass, the first thing to do is just to multiply the mass by gravity to get the force, which is 900 newtons then. From that point you can just times 900 by 200 to find out the amount of work, which is 180,000 joules, or you might want to give your answer in kilojoules, like so. Finally, in this video, we're going to touch on power, but we're going to do more about it next time. Power is basically how quickly you can do the work that you need to do. So power is equal to the work done divided by the time in seconds. Or the longer version of this equation is power is equal to force times distance, which is the equation for work, divided by time in seconds. So in summary, we measure work in joules because the amount of work that you do is equal to the amount of energy that you need to do the work. Work in a physics sense is when force has to be moved a set distance. Usually you'll be given this in a question in a vertical sense because the force is a lot easier to calculate, i.e. gravity. The equation is work is equal to force times distance. Work in joules is equal to force in newtons times by distance in meters. And be careful that they don't try and trip you up. And finally, power is how quickly you do work. We're going to measure it in watts when we do more about it next lesson, and the equation is power is equal to work divided by the time it takes in seconds. My name is Mr. Clee, thank you very much for watching. This is the video that is due on Thursday the 1st of May 2014. Please make sure that you bring your evidence to your lesson on that day. Thank you.